Greetings to all our learners. Welcome to CEC lecture. Dear learners, the topic that we shall focus today is national interest. In the lecture, we shall try to analyze that how the concept of national interest is very significant in the realm of global politics. The concept of national interest has a huge bearing with respect to various dynamics and governance mechanisms at the domestic level. We shall elaborate in the lecture on the various definitions of the concept of national interest, narrate its different classification, present an analysis of how there are, when we look at the contemporary scenario, there are various challenges with respect to the present times that need to be analyzed for a comprehensive and concise idea as to how and what do we define with respect to the concept of national interest. In this lecture, we shall try to analyze how national interest has an important bearing with respect to foreign policy, how there are various governance processes which have a bearing on not only the domestic relations but as well as for the global world. As we take the learning forward, at the outset, the first question that comes across for all of us is, what do we mean by national interest? Now, for the same, let's accept it that there are varied answers. In the lecture, we shall also have a look at the multiple definitions of national interest, and that tells us that the very idea, that is, what is best for a particular nation, is what defines national interest. Amidst the multiplicity of answers, varied perspectives, one of the striking common chord is what is best for a particular nation. Anything that is good, anything that is considered beneficial, anything that is considered advantageous for a nation is reflected within the realm of national interest. National interest is also synonymous with the perspective that is nation's most vital needs or the goals. Then at the outset, let's make it clear that the concept of national interest is a dynamic context. There are time and context changes that are there within it, and then how country's national interest, it changes over time. It is never static. A country's national interest is dependent on the changing context. This changing context of domestic and global realities have a bearing on the idea on what we can take as advantages for a particular nation, on what are the goals that will be beneficial for a nation to pursue. The idea of national interest is very complex concept. This is why, because we have to factor in the aspect that there are various dimensions to it. To add to that, that is how each country, how each nation state has its own definition, perspective on national interest. Yet, one of the striking part of global governance is that when we look at the domestic apparatus and its relation with the global dynamics, all countries have common security, economic, ideological interest. Then, as we are debating the concept of national interest, an important question that comes across in this analysis is, who works for national interest? Who defines national interest? How is it worked out? Now, at the outset, let's accept it that when we are debating the concept of national interest, it is first having an important bearing with the country's government. It's the government that defines the idea and the issues that are there, the advantages, the goals a nation state stands for. So it's the government, the elected leaders, the bureaucracy that is responsible for defining, putting a coherent perspective on national interest. Although today when we look at how today governance is becoming very complex concept, although every segment of the states contributes in one way or the other, when we look at media, when we look at civil society, when we look at influential business group, when we look at academia, policy think tanks, all of them contribute in some way or the other in determining a state's national interest. Then we now try to analyze the concept of national interest by taking definitions presented by scholars from various realms, and for that we take reference to some Google search that we have done. The definition by Charles Lurch and Abdul says that national interest is general, long-term and continuing purpose which the state, the nation and the government all see themselves as serving. Taking forward our debate on various definitions of national interest, we read from popular online search the definition by V.V. Dyke, which says, and we quote, "The values, the desires, the interests which states seek to protect or achieve in relation to each other, desires on the part of the sovereign states." National interest, therefore, as we are reading from these two definitions and as the debate is going on, we see that in the realm of claims, varied objectives, different goals, different demands, several interests which a nation always tries to attain, to reserve, to protect, defend and secure in relation to the other in the global governance sphere. Some basic elements, dear learners, as we are taking this analysis forward, that we can read through that national interest. Some basic elements that national interest stands for: self-preservation, that is maintenance of law and order at the domestic realm, and ensuring safety of the nation at the international realm. The need to safeguard the independence, the need to protect the sovereignty, economic well-being, military security. Then there are various different criteria also for defining national interest. Various nations, various countries have different criteria in order to define what they mean by national interest, or to define what goals, what strategy would filter in their preview of national interest. Some of the criteria that is always there for policymakers in their understanding, in their comprehension of national interest, namely ideological criteria, moral and legal criteria, pragmatic criteria, the bureaucratic criteria, namely that how the policy, once they work out at the international level, how it will be filtered in through the domestic laws and norms. Foreign dependency, amongst others, are some of the important criteria that several nation states take into account while defining national interest. The classification of national interest is another interesting realm that we must look into. And for that, once again from popular online search, we take reference to the work presented by Thomas W. Robinson's classification, that is primary interest, secondary interest, permanent interest, variable interest, the general interest and the specific interest. As we debate further on Robinson's classification, to add here that Robinson also refers to three either interests which he calls as the international interest. Now, these include, say, identical interests, contemporary interests, and the conflicting interests. Dear learners, another interesting classification on the concept of national interest comes from Joseph Frankel's classification, that is aspirational, operational, explanatory, and polemical. Another classification with the concept of national interest is that of vital interest, important interest, and the peripheral interest. Now, as we are debating this classification of different types of interest for the concept of national interest, a very important perspective comes from Hans Morgenthau. And as we read, according to Morgenthau, the vital components of national interest that a foreign policy seeks to secure are the survival or the identity. Now, again, as we all know, Morgenthau is a classical realist scholar which gives realism as a discourse in international relations theory as a policy perspective, focuses on statism, self-help, and survival. Analyzing further Morgenthau's view, he divides the subdivisions namely into three parts, and we read the physical identity, which is signified by a country's territorial identity, the political identity, which is depicted in the politico-economic system, and lastly the cultural identity, the identity which is reflected in the historical values that are upheld by a nation as a part of its cultural heritage. Now, very important to understand that why is it that some of the components in the topic of national interest are called as vital interest, or what is that accounts for vitality with respect to national interest. Very simple here, that is the interests that are essential for survival of the nation states are the interests that lie within the purview of vital components. The non-vital, the variable components of national interest, they are determined either by circumstances or by the necessity of securing the vital components. As we are taking our analysis forward, the next topic in this analysis here is, or the question that comes forward, that what are the methods for securing the national interest? As we are taking the learning forward, in the methods, one of the important methods that has been there for several nation states is that of diplomacy. Establishing contacts with decision makers, diplomats of other nations, conducting negotiations for achieving desired goals and objectives of national interest of their nations. Another method, as that Frankel reads, that is of propaganda. Another method, the economic means, that is the economic aid, the economic loans, amongst others. And this is also very important, dear learners, because in the present time we are there in the sphere of globalization. There are debates on whether globalization is good or bad, but nonetheless what we have to see here is, with globalization, conduct of international economic relations are important means of national interest. Alliances and treaties, as we have seen that how with NATO, CETO, CENTO have been there with respect to conflictual interest as a way of securing national interest. Further, there have been economic alliance like the European Common Market, which is the new European Union now, how it has been also worked out to secure national interest in the changing world. Then there have been coercive means also that have been employed by nation states to secure their national interests. Example, boycotts, protectionism, retaliation, embargoes, amongst others. As we are taking our learning forward, dear learners, we now take reference to some academic books, some academic literature to elaborate further with respect to our learnings, with respect to further research on the topic. An important book as we study the concept of national interest is that of Scott Burchell, The National Interest in International Relations Theory, Springer 2005. Now, as our learnings have shown us that national interest is highly problematic concept, and this is one of the important ideas that the book also conveys. What may be beneficial for one nation may not be beneficial for the other nation. What one nation may think good for itself, other nation may not think that it is good for the nation. So, when we are critically analyzing the concept of national interest, Scott Burchell's work, it tries to present the perspective of contemporary international relations theory, namely realist, Marxist, anarchist, liberals, the English school and the constructive perspectives, to strike the very important idea that national interest is highly problematic and a contested concept. As we are taking our learnings forward on the concept of national interest, another important book that we must refer to is that of Martha Finnemore's work, that is National Interest in International Society, Cornell University Press, 1996. Dear learners, the big question of analysis, as we saw in this concept of national interest here, is how do states know what they want? So, the book by Martha Finnemore, the work focuses on this analysis of how does one define the interest and how the changes in them are accommodated. So, by employing and making popular the constructivist approach to international politics, Martha Finnemore's work presents a very important idea that today, when we look at states in global governance, they are embedded in a dense network, and this dense network in international relations, in transnational and international social relations have an important bearing. They shape the perceptions and the state's preferences in many consistent ways. Some examples that you all must reflect as the book presents, that how this work focuses on international organizations as one of the important components of social structure, and it investigates the ways in which international organizations redefine states' preferences. The work highlights, say, how international organizations, they socialize the states, they help in construction of norms to accept new gains. Some examples, once again taking some reflections that the book presents, UNESCO and how there has been a changing pattern with respect to international organization of science and knowledge, the role of Red Cross and how there has been acceptance of the Geneva Convention of the Rules of War, the World Bank, and how one needs to look at the changing definitions of development with respect to the third world. Another book that gives us very good insights into the dynamics, the changes that one needs to take into account while analyzing concept of national interest is that of Christopher Hill. The work National Interest in Question, Foreign Policy in Multicultural Societies, Oxford University Press, 2013. Dear learners, we all know that when we look at EU, it's a case of supranational governance, but at the same time, when we look at contemporary global realities, there are question marks on this process of integration and exchange. At one point, there is an increased migration, but at the other side, the ethno-cultural diversity, the need to safeguard borders, transnational relations, the bigger debates on multiculturalism, and how important is the link that this work tries to analyze with respect to the interplay between foreign policy and domestic society. So what we are seeing is that domestic society is now taking on some of the diversity associated with international relations, and in such a scenario where there are multiple voices, governments can no longer assume a national consensus with respect to their relations with the outside world. Now let's take a case study with respect to analyzing that how national interest is an important concept in policy making with respect to several nation states. We now take a case study of United States of America, and for that we take the reference to this book by Peter Turbowitz, wherein the book that is Defining the National Interest, Conflict and Change in American Foreign Policy, University of Chicago Press, 1998. What we are seeing here as the book presents, which is true for many countries also, that foreign policy somewhere gets into the conflictual domain because it is grounded, when we look at USA as a case study, that is with respect to America's regional diversity. When we look at uneven nature of integration into world economy, US in this case, and of course which implies for many other countries of the world. So therefore the essence, that is the domestic conflict over how to define national interest. This is very significant insight that the book presents, and this is true for many countries of the globe today, that somewhere there is a churning movements, processes, ideas within the nation state, wherein the idea of national interest changes meaning over time, and then how connections between the domestic and international, as the book points out, as how these changes in the era of globalization have an important bearing with respect to national interest. Another important book as we talk about globalization is that by Ralph A. Gomori, William J. Baumol, Global Trade and Conflicting National Interests, MIT Press, 2000. Dear learners, we all know that trade is complex today. All nations have an important bearing with global trade. The trade that was dominated, when we look at the present scenario, by manufactured goods, technology, huge firms that benefit from economies of scale. This picture of trade, as this book rightly argues, is very different from the time when the classical microeconomic theories of trade and macroeconomic perspectives on global trade originated. National interest today, when we see that how it is dominated by complexity from manufactured goods to technology, what is essential here is that country might have a vital stake then in such a changing scenario with respect to the competitive strength of the industries, which was earlier not there when we look at the world from the realist scenario. So once again, dear learners, when we look at the concept of national interest, we all know that it's a vital concept with respect to global realities, international relations, as well as for the domestic issues of the nations. National interest, some important agendas that are there for all nations: peace, security, ecological protection, protection and securing human rights, sustainable development, peaceful coexistence, peaceful conflict resolution are all shared interests of all nations. What we see here is, along with the promotion of national interest, the nations must try to protect and promote some of these shared common interests in the larger interests of the international community. Time and again, what one sees that with respect to foreign policy of a particular state, it is essential to define the goals of the national interest and meticulously use various types of power, from hard power to soft power to its bigger application with smart power, as the terms come from Joseph Nye's work, in order to give a holistic definition to the explanation of national interest, and in order to have a comprehensive approach to the national interest for a nation, from military to non-military realms like economy, education, human resources, culture, amongst others. Dear learners, we hope that the lecture on national interest gave you significant insights to prepare for your competitive examinations, research, studies, policy papers, amongst others. We look forward to some positive, encouraging feedback from you all for the lecture. Thank you very much for being with us for the lecture.